launch this Wellness Wednesday. I know there's another group that had a Wellness Wednesday, and we say welcome to all of you that were on that previous Welcome Wednesday and that are merging into this one. If you're watching this on a later time or later date, welcome to all of you who are watching our first Wellness Wednesday. And we'll be putting this up on our Facebook pages. For those of you who don't know, the RX Facebook page is RX Corporate North America Facebook page. Then there's the Noni by New Age Facebook page and the Zanoa Facebook page. And these recordings will be on all three of those Facebook pages. And also, we'll have a link if for some reason you get lost, you can't find it, just let us know and we'll be happy to send it out to you. So I am going to introduce our first guest. And honestly, how could we not have Dr. Ray Strand as the first guest of our Wellness Wednesday, the chairman of our scientific advisory board, someone who many of you have heard, seen videos of, read his best-selling books. We are so fortunate to have Dr. Ray Strand as a part of our, not only our scientific advisory board, but really as part of our team. And honestly, here's a person who's busy. He's got his own practice. He writes books. He's busy with a lot of other things he does. He likes to golf. He loves hanging out with his wife Liz and ride horses and doing all the things that we should all love to do. Not necessarily specifically to his wife Liz, but we we all love the same things, enjoying life, and Ray's one of those guys that really enjoys life. And so to take time out of his busy day and to join us, I'm really, really happy. So please, with me, welcome our first guest of the first Wellness Wednesday, Dr. Ray Strand.
Well, thank you, Rick. Can you hear me just fine?
I can. I'm going to give you the spotlight here. There
and
you
then
go.
I can share my screen, Rick. Is that okay?
I made you a co-host, so
Should be able to do it.
let me
Well,
make
I'm
sure.
let me just start by saying thank you for having me. This is a great opportunity. And I'm going to be sharing my screen for a short presentation here. And so you would see where we're going. But I'm going to talk to you about the Slenderize program that RX has developed. But I want to give you some background so that you understand a little bit more about the science behind. This is a short presentation. I'm not going to get into super detail. Maybe sometime in the future, Rick will have me back and we'll do this. But you all know we're in the midst of the obesity and diabetes epidemic, and it's getting worse. And yet, I have been working with this for over 25 years in my clinical practice. I then shared my health concepts through an online program that was very successful, was also used in 3 major clinical trials through the guidelines of the FDA called an IRB. And we have shown that it is clinically effective. And in fact, what I'm sharing with you today is a great opportunity in the health and wellness industry, especially through New Age RX. You're in the right place because we know that this whole system works, and I'll explain a little bit more in detail. But what is very important is now the diabetes specialists throughout the United States has come to the same conclusion that we need to be treating prediabetes as aggressively as we do diabetes because so many are becoming diabetic. In fact, we call prediabetes, it's a metabolic syndrome, but it's our modern day epidemic. And we know now that 25% of all the adults in the US and Canada have the metabolic syndrome or prediabetes. But what a lot of people don't understand is the fact that another 25% of our adults are in the early stages of this metabolic syndrome or prediabetes. Now, this has led the Center for Disease Control to actually project that any child born after 2000, the year 2000, a third of them are going to develop diabetes sometime in their lifetime. If they happen to be Black, Hispanic, Native American, it's nearly 50%. But it's a major issue. And the diabetes specialists that I mentioned got together and formed a consensus opinion. They looked at the worldwide medical literature, much like I had. And they came to the conclusion the treatment that we should be advising our patient is not medication, it's not drugs, but it's intensive lifestyle changes. Now, this is where we fit. So we're not fringy. This is what is going on. But we now deal, and just so you know what prediabetes is, it's a constellation of problems that occur when we become less sensitive to our own insulin. We call that insulin resistance. But the body compensates for this when they become less sensitive to our own insulin based on our poor lifestyles, usually the all-American or all-Canadian diet and lack of activity primarily. There's other issues. But what happens is that over time, we just become less and less sensitive to our own insulin. Well, then our blood insulin levels begin to rise. That's how our body compensates for it. It actually makes more and more insulin. But as that blood insulin level rise, we gain this unusual amount of weight around our middle. Our blood pressure goes up, our cholesterol goes up, especially that bad or very bad VLD cholesterol. The other fat in the blood called triglycerides goes shooting up. Eventually our blood sugars go up, and we're at significantly increased risk, not only of developing diabetes, but also heart disease. So that's what we're talking about, and that's what we're trying to address. So back in the 1990s, when I started researching this in the work of Gerald Ravens who identified this problem out of Stanford University, it became very apparent to me, since prediabetes is the result of these poor, unhealthy lifestyles that actually make us less sensitive to our own insulin. It only made sense that if we firmly established healthy lifestyles that actually improved insulin sensitivity, that this is what we needed. And so that's what I spent over 3 years researching the medical literature. It kind of led to my book that's out there called Healthy for Life. But when you see someone come up on the stage, or you hear someone on a Zoom call that says, this is my transformation story, this is really what RX we call first step therapy, giving a patient a trial of healthy lifestyles before we prescribe drugs. And that's the way I practice medicine. I use medication, but I use it as a last choice and not as a first choice. And so this is what I want to share with you today, is the basis of Nutrify plus Slenderize. So RX's Slenderize program, yes, it's a management program, but it is also a very healthy lifestyle program. And so it's more than just taking SlenderX and Accelerate. We try to encourage people to learn to eat a healthy diet. Now, I'm just going to simply define it. It's eating those healthy, low glycemic carbohydrates, those that don't spike your blood sugar, which are primarily whole foods, and the thing is, you'll start to understand, is our enemies are processed grains and the almighty white potato and sugar. But we also want to be eating our healthy, good proteins and healthy fats. So in the Slenderize program, you're going to see a layout of a diet, but it's based on this principle, that if you're going to eat, you'll learn to eat in such a way as not to spike your blood sugar and overstimulate that release of insulin and cause all this problem, but just go the opposite. The medical literature shows if you start to eat this way and don't spike your blood sugar, you can easily start to improve insulin sensitivity from a particular mechanism. So this shows you, let me get my little marker here. We wake up in the morning with a fasting blood sugar, and that's shown by this dashed black line. So you've been sleeping 6, 8 hours, 9 hours. You wake up in the morning, and that's called your fasting blood sugar. Now, 80+% of all the carbohydrates consumed in the US and Canada are what we call high glycemic. They're going to spike your blood sugar. And so just having instant oatmeal or a bagel or orange juice or whatever, your blood sugar goes up very rapidly, indicated by the red line. That's a high glycemic meal, and it does two things. One, it sets off an inflammatory inflammation in your arteries, but it also stimulates the release of insulin because the body must control insulin in a very narrow range. And so, but we overstimulate the release of insulin, it drops very rapidly. And you can see here, it drops below the fasting blood sugar into that low blood sugar range or hypoglycemic range. Now, if this were allowed to keep going down, 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 you not only get mentally fogginess, you may get lightheaded, you might feel shaky weakness, but you can literally go into a coma and have a seizure. So the body, once that low blood sugar gets down there, it stimulates the release of your stress hormones, adrenaline, cortisol, and it drives that blood sugar back up to normal. But the problem is, yeah, my blood sugar is back to normal, but now I got all these high stress hormones in my body, which sets off an uncontrollable hunger. We know this. So what you've been calling, cravings and all this that I've got to eat is really a natural physiologic response to spiking your blood sugar. And this keeps going on and day in and day out. We usually crave another high glycemic meal. And we keep stimulating our insulins like hollering wolf all the time. We just, over time, your body just becomes less and less sensitive to your insulin. So in the RX Slenderized program, we teach you to eat a low glycemic meal, which is the kind of turquoise line. Yes, your blood sugar goes up, but it doesn't overstimulate the release of insulin. It doesn't cause inflammation of your arteries. Yes, it will come back down to fasting blood sugar, but not drop in this low blood sugar range. And that's just life. And you're going to get hungry again, but you eat another meal or snack that does not spike your blood sugar. That's a key thing. Well, this is why Pure Nourish was developed. Deanna Latson and I, when we joined RX, this is the first real product we collaborated on. I have been using this, but I love this product. It's actually a behavioral modification tool I use in my medical practice because I can have my patients have a couple meal replacements with this, and they quickly learn to eat that one healthy low glycemic meal and a couple low glycemic snacks, and they get to enjoy that low glycemic lifestyle almost instantly. And they can get out of that carbohydrate cravings. Their appetite comes down. They start improving insulin sensitivity. But we know that this is a vegetable protein. It's gluten-free, it's soy-free, it's dairy-free, it's GMO-free, and it is low glycemic. It will not spike your blood sugar. And you can mix it with coconut milk, almond milk, frozen fruit, which I have one every morning. I now put in Giving Greens, but it allows you to easily experience a healthy diet that does not spike your blood sugar, and it will help you change your behavior. So that's there. Now, I also believe that we need to be exercising, but not being a superstar. What the medical literature shows is if you simply are active and maybe do brisk walking, 30 minutes, 5 times a week, and we don't recommend every day. Your body needs to rest. This significantly improves insulin sensitivity from a different mechanism. So it could be brisk walking, biking, hiking, riding, swimming, tennis. It doesn't matter. The only thing the body cannot handle is inactivity. But aerobic activity is the key to improving insulin sensitivity from a different mechanism. And you have to understand, this is the basis of why we're gaining so much weight, why I have so much prediabetes. And so as we improve insulin sensitivity, I found my patients now could effectively have weight loss. And so you don't have to be a superstar. If you want to do weights, you do that, that's fine. But aerobic activity has to be part of it. Now, I go through the medical literature. This is what I study, studying the health benefits of taking nutritional supplements. And I can list all these studies that are usually done on one nutrient at a time, but chromium, vanadium, grapeseed extract, vitamin C, vitamin E, selenium, magnesium, chromium, all of these, I can show you studies that they improve insulin sensitivity from a different mechanism. So anybody who's going to do Slenderized program, I really encourage them to at least take cellular nutrition, because this contains all of these nutrients put together that work synergistically together. and they improve insulin sensitivity, again, from a different mechanism. I define cellular nutrition as providing all of those essential nutrients at their optimal or advanced levels, not RDA levels, but those levels that have been shown to provide a health benefit in our medical literature. That's what I do. And this is very critical. Now, I have many patients who like to add MOA to this, who like to take Restorix, they might take Rejuvenex. You can add different things, but at least the optimals. And the reason I like the optimals is a lot of the nutrients that improve insulin sensitivity are minerals. But we have the 200 micrograms of selenium, we have the chromium, we have all of that, and we know you're getting it. So this is what I do in my medical practice. So, but now that I have SlenderX and Accelerate, I've gone to a 4-part comprehensive lifestyle program. Now, it's a lifestyle program. This is not a diet. Diets don't work. They fail 98% of the time. The connotation is if you're going on a diet somewhere in the future, you're going to be coming off that diet. It's a diet is not effective because it's a short-term solution for a long-term problem. You have to look at your lifestyles, and that's what we guide you. So it's a healthy diet, again, one that does not spike your blood sugar, modest exercise, the optimal cellular nutrition. You can add MOA, Restorix, Rejuvenex to it, MOA, all of this. But now I want to talk to you about SlenderX and Accelerate and how this fits into this whole program. Well, SlenderX is a homeopathic drug containing 10 different ingredients. About 6 of these homeopathic ingredients are known to increase fat release from your cells. And in my medical practice, I believe it improves insulin sensitivity, again, from a different mechanism. So, years ago, before I had this, if I could get my patients to make one of the 3 lifestyle changes, diet, exercise, or supplements, I saw some improvement. If I could get them to do 2 of the 3, I saw a little bit more improvement. If I could get them to do all 3, the results were simply phenomenal, and that's why we did the clinical trials. However, now that I've got Accelerate and SlenderX, I'm seeing those improvements happen twice as fast. In other words, it's twice as quick in getting to your goal. And so 2 other of the homeopathic ingredients actually suppress your appetite. Another 2 actually increase your metabolism. So it works together, and it works. I tell you, if anybody has done this, they'll see their appetite go down. It's effective. And I always encourage my patients to take SlenderX and Accelerate all the time they're trying to reach their goal, their health and weight goals. Weight is great, but I, as a doctor, I like to see it because as you improve and that insulin levels come down, in the clinical trials, we saw insulin levels drop 50%. People were literally able to tip back out of this metabolic syndrome or prediabetes, and they just started releasing fat. They just started losing weight. And they'd say, jeepers, how's this happening? How does, I'm not even trying. I says, it's because we're not relying on willpower. We're going at the direct cause. See, my patients say, well, Dr. Strand, what's so hard about, feeling good, having more energy, more focus, never going hungry, seeing your health parameters improve, and I'm losing weight and I'm not trying. Well, anytime you try to affect and change your behavior, which is the most difficult thing as a physician I deal with in my medical practice, it's stressful. So RX has developed Accelerate, and Accelerate is that companion to help a calming effect because it has 2 Ayurvedic herbs, rhodiola and ashwagandha, and it calms you. You rest better. High doses of B12 give you more energy. You have biotin, and so it's a great complement to the SlenderX. And that's why it's there. It actually helps people just go through this stressful time. And that's how these 2 work together. So you can take it for as long as you want. I mean, I'm dealing with people who have 150 to even 200 pounds to lose, and they're on it for a couple of years. That's not a problem. But most of us have maybe 25 to 35 pounds we'd like to shed. Well, I want to see your health improve. I don't want to just see you lose weight, but I also want you to keep it off. And that's what we have shown. So I want to also talk to people because SlenderX and Accelerate is not available in all our markets. We have developed the day and night drops, which are available where SlenderX is not, but they also have similar characteristics. Now, this is a more combined nutritional supplement that increases your metabolism. It decreases your appetite. It improves insulin sensitivity to another level, but it has a calming effect, and you have improved sleep. And people like in Europe and that are doing the day and night drops, they're really enjoying the day and night drops, and they're getting the same results. Now, I just want you to know they're similar and they do the same. That's where we are. So, in summary, RX's weight management system actually improves insulin sensitivity, which allows you to literally tip back into a normal metabolic state and begin releasing fat. But as those blood insulin levels drop, you'll see your health parameters improve. You get a healthier blood pressure, healthier cholesterol lipid profile. Your blood sugars become more in the healthy range. I see it day in and day out. This is what I do. And this is my wellness program in my medical practice. So RX's weight management system is not a diet, but a lifestyle. So weight loss is great. However, keeping it off is priceless. And that's what really encourages me. When my patients come in and they went through this, they firmly established these new healthier lifestyles, come, gee, I lost my weight 5 years ago and my weight's still the same. That's key. That's what I want, because it's all about health. And we're in this world now of pandemics and viruses and all this. Who is being attacked the worst? Overweight, obese people, diabetics, pre-diabetics. This is not the last virus that's going to come out and hit us. We want to do this to protect our health. Your own natural immune system, your body's natural defense system is your best defense against any of this. So I'm going to stop sharing, Rick, and turn it back to you. And hopefully we got through that in your time period. Well, I must have been too quick.
No, I'm here, Ray. Sorry. So thank you so much for being on the call tonight. And today, I'm so used to saying tonight. And everyone obviously is so enriched when you come on. I had to step away for a minute, so I don't know if you talked about this, but in today's day and age, immune building is such a buzzword and an important thing. Did you focus on that on this call today?
Well, I just closed a bit. Let me just tell people, because that's the hot button issue.
It is.
What we know now is that if you take nutritional supplements and you have, a healthy weight, it is tremendous, because we have to rely on our natural immune system. There are studies out there now that if you're taking 4,000 IU of vitamin D3, and that you can get in the optimals and Magnic LD, you decrease your risk of getting COVID by 80%. If you get COVID, no one with those blood levels has gone into this inflammatory response later on that's so deadly, called the cytokine storm. Now, you need it. Zinc is good. Vitamin C, you want to be over 1,000. Well, you're 1,300 milligrams with just the optimals. And so, but Rick, what I wanted to share with this is that and you didn't hear this, but it hits, where is COVID and viruses hitting? It's the obese, the pre-diabetics and diabetics. And that's what I focus my talk in. This is a lifestyle. This is a choice. You can go out. Now, the trouble I have doing this, it takes patient motivation. I can't give you a pill to create this, but this is more important. But you know what I say, becoming diabetic and the clinical trials I've done, it really shows that it is your choice. You can do this. So here, Rick, here's a real key. When people finally make that decision, they want to become more proactive in protecting their health rather than being reactive when they lose it. And they choose to spend their time, their money, and their effort to accomplish this goal. They want to know that what they're doing is going to be clinically effective. Now, that's my role. That's what I study the medical literature.
Yeah.
This is all based on science and medical clinical trials. It is not flim flam. There's a lot of garbage out there. And this works. So if you're going to do it, and we see that with our transformation stories, that's what we're seeing when they walk up on stage or on a Zoom call. They're not only losing their weight, their health is improving. And this is your best protection because your natural immune system, you want to optimize it. And all of that, we don't have time to go all, but it is the answer.
Yeah, our bodies, and we've had this conversation before, our bodies are these God-given healing machines. I mean, that's if you want to break it down, we are incredible healing machines. And disease or dis-ease happens over time, and the aging process is part of that process, but it doesn't have to necessarily have the impact that it has if you take care of this in healing machine. And it's no wonder people have these amazing experiences just going on optimal V&M because they've never, what they're doing is that they're finally feeding their body something that they're able to absorb for the first time. They've been on those Walmart gravel pills that I call multivitamins. And then they start on ours, and all of a sudden they're going, man, I feel differently. I feel more energy and so on. It's because you're actually absorbing, and your body is now able to utilize and heal itself, which is really what we're made to do.
You know, the optimals, Rick, do three main things. They optimize your body's natural antioxidant defense system, which is critical for long-term disease. It also optimizes your body's natural immune system. They do the same thing. I explain this in my book, What Your Doctor Doesn't Know. But the third thing they do is they optimize your body's natural repair system. And that's what you're alluding to. Our body has a tremendous repair system. And this is what we got to rely on. That's what we've relied on since the beginning of time, before this pandemic, where they think, you know, we can do it with a vaccine. It's not. Rely on your body's natural immune system. And number one, you're not going to get it. If you do, it's not going to be as bad. But then if you even had COVID, they're showing now your immunity will last decades against the coronavirus, the COVID. It's not 3 months. It's out there, and I don't have time to get into it. But it's the same thing. Rely on your body's natural immune system.
Yeah, we are incredible. Like I said, God-given healing machines. I believe that. I've seen it in my own life,
Yeah.
as we've been, you know, as we're all up against health challenges. It's part of life, and different viruses and colds, and it's just this is such great advice, Dr. Strand. Thank you so much for being with us
Well,
today.
thank you.
We love the simplicity of your message as well. I know sometimes you get doctors on here, they it's like they're quoting books, and you're listening to them and you can't take notes fast enough because you can't pronounce half the words. And I love the way Ray is able to take this information and break it down so that people like me, who are at the bottom chain of that bottom of that food chain, can understand it. So thank you again, Dr. Strand.
Thank you.
Cool. Well, be with us next week. I tried to confirm before I got on this call. We're scheduled to have Deanna with us next week, and I'm excited about that. So looking forward to being here with you every Wednesday. We'll try to keep this about 30 minutes, which I think we did considering the late start. So thanks again for being with us. Have a great week. And this Zoom will be uploaded onto the Facebook pages. For those of you who don't know, again, who might have come in late to the call, the RX Facebook page is RX Corporate North America Facebook page. You have the Noni by New Age Facebook page and the Zenoa Facebook page, and it will be on all three of those. So thanks again for being with us. Have a great rest of your week.
Thanks, Rick.
Thank you,
Thanks,
guys.
Dr. Strand.
Thank
Great
you,
call.
Rick.
Thank you, Rick.
Thank you, Rick.
Thank you.